all about finding our student handbook so that we can then look for specific details. For instance, what if you're interested in being on the dean's list or graduating with honors? How do you find the information about those particular programs and what grades you need to have? So here is our student who is online, and there are two ways that we could get to the handbook. So one, in this gray line at the very top, we could look at resources. That will have a few more clicks, a few more options than the other way that we can also look there. So if we clicked on that resource button, it would immediately have one of the many links as the CTU Student Handbook. But we can also go over here to the red line and we can click on academics. And as you can see, it's working away. And then from there, it says a lot about our demo student. It tells us what classes they're working on, their student success coach, what courses have come through on their transcript, because you can transfer in other credits. But what we're going to do is look at this sidebar on the left, and we're going to click on academic resources. It will have a few fewer resources than just the resources tab itself. Obviously, resources versus academic resources, they're going to be a little bit different. But what we would have right here is that CTU handbook. And if we click on that, it's going to open a new window with the handbook. As you can see right here, there are 91 pages. Oh, that's a lot to handle. It can help if we check the table of contents to sort of see what sort of ideas we want to look at. But because that can get a little bit tricky at times, I like to use the Command F function, which, as you can see, for Mozilla Firefox, it brought me this handy find search bar at the bottom. So I'm going to look up list, and it says that there are only a couple of spots. And the first one, honors list. So that is probably where we're going to go on page 84. But as you can see, there are 21 matches, so we can kind of click through those and see what sort of stuff is happening. So for instance, undergraduate admissions has a list. But what we could do is also go back to that top one. Because we're online, woohoo, we can click on it and it'll go straight to that page. And this is where we start to find out about different items. So, for instance, it says they provide the opportunity to appear on the dean's or president's list if you meet the academic requirements. Obviously, we want to know what those are, and we are in the student handbook, but you'll notice that it mentions the university catalog. So there are two different places that we can get this kind of information for us. So we're going to click on this hyperlink. And as you can see, it didn't open a new window. It went straight to an area in the handbook in the catalog on the website. And from here, we can see this is how we're going to say graduate with honors. These are the diploma programs. So we get that particular sort of information. And here is where this part is. So for instance, full-time undergraduates who attain a grade point average of 4.0 for the quarter are eligible for the president's or chancellor's list, which is very exciting. Full-time undergrad students who attain a grade point average of 3.5 to 3.99 with no grade lower than a C are eligible for the dean's list. And then there may be other questions you then have. So for instance, a quarter, if you think about how we write down the numbers for classes. So right when I'm filming this, we are in 2203A. So that means we are in the year 2022, and the 03 says that we are in the third quarter. But a quarter is made up here of two sections. So we are in quarter 3 with the A section. So a quarter would be two sets of classes, and we'll next do 03B. So all those kinds of details are great things to talk about with your student success coach, but you can also find a lot of these pieces yourself if you want to have a copy of them. But just to give you an idea of where to go for some of these resources, here is this video. Don't forget these wonderful things of being able to search and find details there as well on websites.